Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tuning in to the Life Games podcast and the Life Games YouTube channel. I bet you guys ain't seen a sexy as hell chocolate drop group of men in at least 50 years. We're here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to entertain you, to give you some information. Sitting beside me, ladies and gentlemen, it is the big homie, the host of the Movie Files YouTube channel is Elliot. Let's give this man a round of applause.
Thank you, man.
What's going on, Elliot? How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good, Lamont. I'm out in the Midwest, so it's cold, freezing, raining. You know how we do in the Midwest. We have very bipolar weather sometimes, but there's more than raising and used to it. But doing all right, man. Just keeping up with all the good stuff, entertainment, movies and shows, and trying to talk about it with all the fine folks out there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know I only troll YouTube to find the greatest in talent and content creators across the YouTube spectrum. And what can I say about this brother? No one is on a faster growth trajectory than Mr. Elliot of Movie Files right here. His link is in the video description. All you got to do is subscribe and you'll see what all the hype is about. But before I interview this man, let me show you the sizzle reel that got me into his channel. Yeah, buddy. Sizzle reel for Movie Files, Mr. Elliot. Here we go.
Got homeboy telling our character here about some tragedies that went down in this particular place of town in the water here, and some terrible, horrific things have went down. And again, based on history, based on this show tackling real life circumstances, I looked up some things, and this ain't just made up. This ain't just made up here. This is apparently a true story called Lake Lanier. And apparently in Lake Lanier, as we kind of alluded to in this episode, people come up missing, like drownings, boat incidences. People have died on this under the water, and as they say, they feel like someone was pulling them underwater. Just getting into my thoughts before we get into the breakdown as far as expectations. So I fully support the recast T'Challa movement, and I don't want to get into all the details here. I have a 30-minute plus long video on my read. I'm telling y'all, I completely understand why Namor was taking the position he did, and you felt his anger and you felt his rage where it came from in regards to his to take on the surface land. And let me say this right now, when it comes to when we're introduced to Namor in this film, arguably the best introduction to any Marvel character. I'm talking villains, Thanos whooping the Hulk's ass, Captain America for the first time, Black Panther for the first time. The intro, that scene, some of the best I've ever seen in the MCU. It was haunting.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Any man that's going to stand on his laurels and say that was the best intro in Marvel, considering all the movies.
Fire.
You got to rock with that, brother. So, Elliot, talk to us, man. Tell the people a little bit about you before you got into YouTube. What was it that you was doing before we have been able to be graced with your presence and hear your voice and get your great analysis?
For sure, man. Well, born and raised in Chicago, Chicagoan here. Lived in Chicago for about, so I was like 18, 19. And even prior to that, only child, very small family, but, things that kept me busy was my Power Rangers, my movies, my shows that kept me entertained as the only child. Right. Grown up in a house with my mom and my grandmother who raised me. And it was in those early years, man, that I fell in love with cinema and fell in love with entertainment. It's just, the cliche answer of like escapism, right? And it's just being able to go on the Millennium Falcon with Han Solo and Chewbacca, or going on a Power Rangers adventure with rest in peace to our Green Ranger here and Jason and all of them. So, man, it's just, being an only kid, that was where a lot of my entertainment came from, is movies and shows and, of course, video games. And, fast forward to going to high school, took some film courses, went to college, got a degree in film and video. And it kind of led to I've made a couple films, been a part of filmmaking, had a film that went to a film festival, but that wasn't the passion. The passion was really kind of talking, breaking down, connecting with movies and shows with various different people. So that's kind of where my passion lies, is just dissecting it, talking about it, and loving what we watch, man, on our time off of work, and when we're at work, sometimes we're watching movies on our phone. So I'm just a fan of entertainment, man.
Your story sounds very similar to mine. I'm an only child. I was basically raised by grandma, and I always tell people I had to live life like the Muppet Babies. They use their imagination to the
Yeah,
fullest.
man. Yep.
So there's trees still where I grew up at that's got names and whip marks on them because I thought I was a Ninja Turtle and I had nunchucks. So I definitely can relate to your story, my brother. And
Yeah, man.
that's kind of what got me to the game. So I'm on the opposite trajectory of where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
You went to film, and now you're in YouTube.
Yep.
I'm in YouTube, and I'm trying to cross over to film. So
Gotcha.
I'm gonna have to rap with you at some point in time just to kind of get a little bit of the ins and outs of how things go. You
For
know,
sure.
as you went through it, and so you had this love of film.
Yeah.
At what point in time, and TV, at what point in time did you decide, you know what, I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I need to start doing this on YouTube? What was the catalyst to get you into YouTube?
It was, man, I can't remember the exact year, but it had to be right around when I was in college. So this was 2012 or 13 or so. I had a very variety of things on my previous YouTube channel where it was like I was reviewing food, movies, TV shows, video games, and just like a bunch of random stuff. But it didn't really go anywhere. But the idea of it was is just putting myself out there, putting my opinions out there, and just having a conversation. But then it wasn't until 2017, which at that time when I was dating my girlfriend, she got tired of me just talking about movies and shows all the time with her. So she said, why don't you go ahead and get that channel up and running again? And that's where it kind of all stemmed from. It was just like, you know what, I did it before, didn't take it too seriously. But now let me actually put the pedal to the metal and really find my voice and find my niche into this YouTube space. And here we are, 2022, 5 years later, continuing to grow the channel and expanding the brand of a sense and finding myself with different opportunities with this growing brand and being interviewed by one of the best in the business with Lamont. So yeah, man.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, pop my collar on that one. Damn right. That brother said he talking that good talking, that Shawn Michaels tonight. So what, I mean, brother, your channel has just went, psh, it's going further than those rockets Elon sent to Mars, literally within a short window. So what do you feel like has been the secret to your success of growing? Now, I will put this caveat out there. The space you're kind of in, where I guess the best thing to say is you're a minority creator, and you're kind of in I don't want to just say you're in the superhero space because it's bigger than that. But a lot of what you enjoy covering is superhero space. And that's a space where it tends to be hard for minority creators to grow.
Oh, yeah.
What has it been that has helped you grow that audience so fast?
Well, again, and it took, like I said, 2017, and it hasn't been like an on again, off again relationship with my YouTube journey in the last 5 years. It's been pretty consistent, but I will say 2019 was kind of my light bulb moment in a sense where I think up to that point, I have accumulated over 700 subscribers, which at that point I was like, any subscribers to me mattered, whether it was 7 or 700. But I'm like, you know what, man, I really, and again, I was consistent, but I'm like, I'm still not finding that traction that I'm looking for to really kind of build this out. Because during that time it was more like a hobby, just kind of a fun thing. As fast forward to where I'm at now, I really want this to be like a full-time opportunity, especially come next year, and just really put the foot to the metal. But I would say 2019 to me was like, you know what? I am going to take advantage of during that year. It was two big things that was launching at the end of 2019, which was the streaming wars were really getting going, which was Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus. So I said to myself, you know what, no matter how long it takes, how long I got to stay up, how long it's going to take to edit these videos, I'm going to try to cover all the new shows on Apple TV Plus, all the new movies, and eventually The Mandalorian, which dropped earlier 2020. I'm going to try to cover that to really put myself out there and build like a schedule and build like this presence of like expectations of when, because nothing greater as a YouTube creator when people expect and look forward to your content. So that was something I wanted to really dive into, is like covering things that maybe people are new to or covering things that people never heard of. And from 2019 to where I'm at now, from 700 subscribers and still building to, trying to get to 50K. It took me, like I said, 2 years to get 700. And now we're knocking on the door of 50K in a much smaller window. So it's just the consistency and having a plan and sticking to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what his channel looks like. And you can see right there, the brother is knocking on the door of 50,000. If you haven't subscribed, you're not winning in this game of reviewing. Please go subscribe to that brother's channel. He also has a rockin' TikTok.
I'm trying.
I've got a link in TikTok for this brother too. One of the hardest working brothers out there. You want to support this man because when you want an opinion about a show, a great critique, he's usually Johnny on the spot, getting these things before the movies come. He's one of them special Negroes people. He's one of them special people that see stuff before it comes out and can give you a very, very educated, dialed in critique of these shows. But having said those things, Elliot,
Yeah, man.
what would you say it is that separates your channel from all the other channels in this space?
Great question, man. I think for me, and again, we're in a very somewhat saturated market because we all love the things that we love: Marvel, DC, Star Wars, so on and so forth. So I think for me, it was just number one, what makes us different is who we are as individuals, right? We can all cover the same things, but what are you saying that's different from Lamont or saying different from, our boy Behavior from Just My Opinion Reviews or E-Man? She's like, we got to bring ourselves to it. So I always have this approach of just like we're doing right now. I'm talking to a homie, talking to a friend, and I think people can appreciate that. It is nice to sometimes, and I do it occasionally, depending on the film or the project, get super analytical, cinematography, score, all those different technical things, the behind the scenes that I really appreciate, again, being someone that has made films. But then also it's just like this talking, like you're at the barbershop, just having a good time and just really get into the things that we can relate to as Black people, or things that we can relate to as men, or things that we can relate to as nerds and geeks and growing up with these things. So to me, my approach is just really that person that you can go to that's just going to have a good time and get serious when we need to be serious, have fun when we need to have fun, but ultimately just having something to say and bringing my uniqueness and my voice to the conversation.
You do an excellent job of, I would say, mixing barbershop talk with the actual informed thespian part of entertainment. Hell, LeBron James need to be reaching out to you, paying you to come on the shop to give your expertise on how you do these things, because you do want someone to come with the realness of, I'm just talking to you like a homie, but you also want that same person to be informed about what the hell they're talking about.
100%.
And you
100%,
do an excellent job of mixing up those things. And that's one of the reasons why you're on my top 5 list on YouTube as we speak right now.
I appreciate it.
And now that you've got this growing audience, this growing brand, what are your goals coming up for the new year? But then ultimately, what are your ultimate goals in general?
So new year is so top of next year and into the rest of the year, it's just really sticking to the idea, and it's kind of ties to a goal too of next year, is making this a full-time opportunity, because there is nothing in the world besides family and friends, obviously, but just as far as like a separating that to just things that I'm passionate about and want to make and build upon. It's just making this a full-time opportunity, because it so far, since I've been kind of growing and being that more consistent, it's giving me opportunities that I never thought I would have in front of me. You mentioned it is fun to be able to see things early, but it also helps me with timing because I do have a 9 to 5 and I do have a life. So that's helped out. Meeting different various people throughout the process of doing this YouTube space has given me opportunities to, meet new people, get exposed to new things. So again, it's tying it back around top of 2023, just staying more on focus, being more consistent, covering a variety of other different things. Just most recently, I covered one of my first like Indian films, which is RRR, and just meeting those people that appreciate that film and that type of culture. So it's just expanding myself, reaching new horizons. And like I said, the goal next year is to make this like a permanent 9 to 5 in regard, or not even 9 to 5, because sometimes I don't want it to be like a job, because at that point you're feeling like you're doing it just for work. But I want to make it where it's like, I am treating it like a job in the sense of having a schedule, expectations of when to come in to work, when to get things done. So it all comes back to just making this an opportunity to make it full time.
It's, to me right now, it almost feels like you are a full timer.
It looks that way, right?
There are YouTubers who don't put out as much content as you do that are full timers. So
Yeah, that's
it's
right,
like
man.
and you
Scheduling,
mentioned
man,
that you,
scheduling.
I was gonna say, for people that are inspired by your story, how are
Mm,
you able to manage your day-to-day job and YouTube? How do you go about setting up your schedule so
yeah.
that you can make sure you're, because what you do takes a lot of time. You're
Oh yeah.
reviewing movies.
Yep.
Sometimes you've got to look at it more than once to really understand the meat and potatoes of it. Then you got to do the review. Then you got to edit. Then you got to sit there and let YouTube upload. Then you're on TikTok. Then you're doing shorts. I mean, how do you advise people on this tic-tac-toe schedule you got?
Well, one of which, so my full time job, and it's I'm a real estate agent, so I do have a lot of time to kind of squeeze things in between different showings or different appointments or via different contracts. I do have a little bit more time than someone that might say I have to clock in from a 9 to 5. So that does allow me to have those opportunities. But even then, with real estate, even though I don't have like a set schedule per se, someone can call me right now and say, "Hey, I want to see this house tomorrow." So that I got to drop everything. I got to, miss out on the screen or whatever the case may be. So for me, it is, again, going back to the opportunities I've been given, being able to see a film 3-4 days in advance, or in some cases a week or two in advance, or seeing a TV show before, get the whole season before it even premieres, and breaking it down weekly. That has been tremendously helpful to scheduling things out, because I do what I tend to do, and I might not necessarily advise it, but if you're able to, I shoot in bulk, meaning that if I have a Tuesday and I have 4 hours before I have to go to a showing, or 4 hours before I have to go to whatever, I'm probably shooting 2 or 3 reviews in that 4 hours. I'm probably shooting a couple shorts that I'm going to schedule throughout the week. So I do that. Helps a lot to be able to shoot in bulk. Because again, it's not easy, because sometimes you got to compartmentalize the difference between you watch this film, you just talked about this film, you pour all your opinions in it, then you got to bounce back over and talk about this other super intellectual, deep conversation about whatever movie or film I'm talking about. So scheduling ahead and shooting in bulk has definitely helped me be able to maintain the very stressful schedule sometimes, but keep me in order when it comes to putting out my content.
Well, I mean, this interview is all about you, and we might as well promote your real estate business as well. I mean, everybody that knows me know I still hold a bunch of real estate and properties and all that. And
Yeah.
what area of the United States are you in, for those that might be watching that might need an agent?
Yeah. So I'm a licensed real estate agent in the state of Missouri. So if you're looking to move into Missouri or out, or or whatever the case may be, you can hit me up. This Elliot Collins is my full name, and you'll be able to find me. You see this face, you'll see it online. And I've been doing real estate since 2016. So this will be my year 6, and trust me, it's a very fun job, but there's no two deals that are the same. And it can be very stressful. That's why, again, going back to when I was a kid, escapism, being able to watch movies and shows takes a lot of that stress off of my mind when I'm visiting worlds like Pandora, or fighting next to the Avengers or whatnot. So, but yeah, if you guys ever need help in the state of Missouri with real estate, hit me up.
Now, are you able to, in Missouri? Are you doing residential and commercial, or are you just strictly one or the other one?
Strictly residential. I've dabbled in commercial. It is very, very long process. A lot of legwork for things that takes months to sometimes close. So I've found my niches in residential.
Gotcha. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a roof to put over your head so that you can watch on Netflix and then watch his review, you can get all that from
There
this
you go.
brother right here. And his
Yeah.
link is right here in the video description. That's his channel, that's his IG. And we're going to give you guys a taste of how his review goes, because he's seeing Avatar a little early. We're
Yeah.
going to get a little smidgen of what he's got to say when we're done with this interview. I've got you on the home stretch, my man. A lot of people are inspired by your videos. I've talked to several people. I've talked to a lot of ladies that have been inspired by you and B. Avery and the whole crew.
Mm.
For up and coming YouTubers that are trying to get into any space,
Yep.
forget it's just movies, TV, just any space on YouTube.
Mhm.
What advice would you give them to have a successful transition into getting into YouTube?
Well, first off, do it. Don't
Mm.
talk yourself out of it. Don't wait till you get this new lighting kit, till you get this camera, till you get this microphone. Just do it. And once you've kind of get into the habit of doing that, such as recording, putting your opinions out there, and finding a schedule, you'll be able to slowly but surely and get the camera you wanted eventually, get the lighting system you
Mhm.
wanted eventually. And I'm listen, by no means, y'all saw my clip, I don't have the most elegant setup like Lamont has all his great stuff there.
Whoa.
My stuff is very simple when it comes to my approach. And what I like about that is just like, that means to me that the people are coming to watch, me, and nothing against
Yeah,
people that have like their Funko Pops and Blu-rays and all that stuff. But like I said, to me, it's just like putting myself out there, putting my opinion out there. And when you're first starting, it's just, again, finding your voice, finding your niche, finding your rhythm, and just being consistent. Consistency is the name of the game. And like I said, there's nothing, and Amat can attest to this, there's nothing more satisfying than when you have people that are looking forward to your content and knowing that whether it's once a week or it's 5 times a week. Just the fact that people can know that I can go to this content creator who whether I disagree with their opinion or agree with it, I know they're going to have their content out there and they're coming to watch you. So staying consistent is a very important thing in this space.
absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. He couldn't have said it better if he put a handle on it. You have to be consistent, and that's what he's done. You see, he's winning. He's got all these subscribers. He's on a wave right now, and he's doing great. I'll get you out of here on this. With you knowing everything you know now about YouTube, we're almost in 2023. What would you tell young Elliot back in 2015, just getting into YouTube now that you've got hindsight?
Sorry, my dog's having a little bit of some people outside having a conversation. The question was, what would I tell my older self that I know now that I would, just keep forward, keep pushing forward, and sorry about that, and just finding things that you enjoy covering, because there's nothing worse than covering things that you're not entertained by or invested in. So it's finding things that you enjoy talking about and staying consistent with that.
Absolutely. Hey man, we love those special effects. We love dogs. Anytime someone who's a Marvel fan or a DC fan jumps up here, we always got jokes for the dogs. Your dog a flirkin? He's a flirkin dog. Can
Yeah,
can we put
he's a little Pomeranian who his name's Thor, by the way. He thinks he is, the god of thunder. So you can hear his thunder now. So, but yeah.
So I always ask my interviewees this question: how do you handle trolls? And I always play the role of 3 different reviews that are put on your comment section, because anyone getting into YouTube, you're gonna have to deal with comment section. You're gonna have to deal with people. Some people are just trolling, don't know you, didn't look at your video, just up there doing the most. Then you have some people that are really your fans, but they do take some opposition to what you do. So I'm gonna play the role of a troll, and I want you to tell me how you would respond in the comment sections to the said person. So here's the first one. I really enjoyed his review. Okay, I'm typing. But I think you're misguided in the way you feel about the score of this movie. Everything else in your review I enjoyed, but I just think you're misguided in the score of this movie. I didn't like it. How would you reply to that person?
Trolls are so funny. I love them actually, man, because they give me a good laugh most of the days. But to each their own, man. If they disagree with a score that I have for, and you're referring to like the movie score, you're talking about the score that I gave a film or talk show,
No,
whatever.
the music. It
The
like
music
they
of it.
yeah. You
Yeah.
like the music, they disagree with it.
Hey, that's the beauty of film, right? It's like I can love it, you can hate it. I can hate it, you can love it. So tell me why. Tell me why you didn't like the score of the particular film. What was it about the score that didn't connect with you or resonate with you? Now that's on a good day. most days they say, hey, I appreciate you watching the review. I'm sorry you disagree with me, but hey, thank you for watching and commenting. And maybe next review we can agree on something. But so I like to keep a lot of those short and sweet. But like I said, on some days you get a little bit more elaborate, you get a little bit more detailed. But I never feed into it. Like you're never gonna catch me going back and forth with someone over a movie or a show or getting personal about it. But on a case like that, I'll just be like, hey, we agree, we can agree to disagree.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Let's give this brother the Hollywood stand-up applause for all this hard work and coming through for this interview. This is for you, Mr. Elliot. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the interview portion of our video. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. He's got a YouTube. That's what it looks like. Link is in description. He also has a rockin' TikTok. Link is in description. And he's got a bunch of great reviews up right now as we speak.